best of 5 series is going to kick off to a flying start. We are still in 7.16. And of course, we start with the Gnar ban. I mean, that makes sense for Paprise. He's been playing it a bit in solo queue, I believe.
Yeah, Gnar's pretty strong into tanks at the moment. Yeah, it's good into Maokai. Pretty much nullifies, or it maintains top priority quite well. There's not many counter picks. You can pick Renekton, but that's kind of a neutral lane. Not really. Not outscales the Renekton, but we do see the Maokai bans away from Curse. And we do see the Elise ban we were just talking about.
And the Orianna follows suit as well, with Laris losing that. The first pick, Maokai, straight away. Abyss Academy look like they've started this ban phase off really nicely and targeting some of the strongest points in Outlaws.
What I really like and enjoy is the fact they've learnt, let's get rid of the Trini.
Yeah, 100%.
Really strong at the moment in time.
100%.
Let's just get him out of there. And I feel like the fact that they decided to ban the Gnar first suggested I think he wants to get the Maokai. I think he wants to go for that tank. And you can already see him immediately like, okay, let's start taking tanks off the board. Because now that guy that deals with him so well is also gone.
I really like the Tristana ban. Rain, I think, had an outstanding... Yeah, he went 7-1-3 in the last game.
Yep.
In that series that they took down Atletico.
Yep.
I'm really happy they took that one away.
Yeah, but they first picked the Kog'Maw.
So that's a bit of a risk because you would probably
Lulu's
expect
open.
it. Yeah, exactly. You expect the Lulu to either be taken away right now. And I do like the choice that they decided to actually say, you know what, we're going to hit Paprise, we're going to hit Curse, and let's give Paprise his Camille. But, they trolled me once again.
Changed it to the Galio last second. Paprise locks that one in, but I do like the Kog'Maw, like you gentlemen were saying. So right here and now, you're saying they have to get rid of the Lulu. Yeah,
They have to.
Well,
I mean, we saw this exact composition really. Galio, Galio's tanky, but then we have seen Lulu Cog, and that is a time bomb, and it's not actually a bad laning phase. I would so. The Jarvan is also a nice pick. It does ensure that there's a lot of pressure on this bot lane of Cog Lulu.
Yep.
If he does force the flash, Cataclysm will lock that Kog'Maw down. But we are seeing the Sejuani hovered.
Okay, so what I also like about the Jarvan pickup here is that's actually a combo. They decided to get 2 picks that synergize so well with each other. Specifically, the fact that J4 has a lot of abilities to get in amongst the team, whether that be with a Dragon Flag. If he's not really there yet, he can follow up with the Cataclysm, and he will get the support from Paprise afterwards. If not Paprise, probably Frey, because that Galio can go into 2 different places.
Yeah, but the response there, gents, is picking up a Sejuani and a Lulu, which already looks like Outlaws have just been one step ahead.
No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Abyss had the option to take the Lulu. They knew that, okay, they first picked Kog'Maw.
Yep.
They probably want the Lulu. Let's give it to them, but let's say Galio Jarvan. They are hovering the Twitch, which is a nice counter pick into Kog'Maw.
What I sort of dislike about this, though, now is that they're not going to be able to pick their support unless they've already picked up Galio for it. And you probably would expect the bans to be focused now from Outlaws on those supports. Basically, whatever facilitates the Twitch.
So something like Kuden's Taric,
Well, I would say Janna, perhaps even like you said, Taric is an option. I doubt it as much because you really want to have something that's going to be safer in comparison and make him really strong. But I'm feeling Janna. There it is right there. Taric is probably the next big pick because we know Kuden does like
with this composition, I feel like Taric would sit nicely. Do you agree?
This is really scary coming out of Abyss because they have picked Twitch. They have third rotation Twitch.
Yep.
But as we said, they are going to ban... Outlaws are going to ban out... they are going to ban out supports. And this means that Cog Lulu is probably going to have an ideal lane. Twitch is not the best laner already. So this already, for me, doesn't really look good for Abyss.
On the side of Abyss Academy, they have finished off with a Renekton ban following the Fiora, trying to get rid of Curse as much as possible, and there you go, Mendrix, nicely done. It is going to be the Taric as the last ban. Now Abyss Academy don't really have that many supports on the board that, can fit into this. You still have the Brom available. What do you think?
And it's really interesting that you say that between these teams because I think, Brom is available. How well does he synergize with Twitch? I don't think that much. He really does need to get in there and actually get his Winter's Bite proc, and typically Twitch is more of a hit and miss. He's not going to continue fighting after that stun goes off because he would have missed out on his rotations when he uses the Expunge.
The thing about Twitch, just quickly before I go on Jax, is Twitch counts as Kog'Maw late game. Kog'Maw can't react to the surprise and opening from Twitch. Twitch will be able to probably burst the Cog before the support can come through. But I love this Jax pick. We can see that Gnar, Gragas, Renekton, and Fiora have been banned. And we know that Camille, and that's a Lucian mid. And we know that Camille is Curse's, I guess, like he's probably his best champion, but Jax is a direct counter. So this is a nice reaction play from Abyss.
Yeah, really seems to be a super intelligent draft coming out of Abyss, especially the fact that they said, you know what, we're going to have a nice beefy top laner or someone that does well as a tank if we have that option available. You know what, let's just ban out those champions that are available, make sure he can't use the Camille that we know he's so good at, and then continue our picks from there. And that seems to actually be a respectable response from Kuden.
I'm so happy to see Kuden pick that up. I played with Kuden in my previously. He was on Legacy, and he was not a fan of engaged champions. I was thinking of like, okay, Taric and Janna are banned. Is he going to go for the Rakan just because it's so good to get on top of that Kog'Maw? I think Abyss react to this. I wouldn't say they had a great early draft, giving the Lulu Cog away and picking Twitch. But they have reacted well with the Jax pick and the Rakan.
Putting the Galio mid against the Lucian. I mean, the Lucian obviously was the response because as soon as they picked up Jax, it became obvious then and there. But right now, I do see for Abyss Academy, I see 4 members who are able to disengage. I see 4 members who are able to protect KO. And KO has been a consistent player for Abyss Academy so far in the split. And for him to be on the hypercarry on the Twitch, there are 4 members in Abyss Academy who can help him out here.
Yeah, it is going to be, I guess you could say, controlled chaos coming out from Abyss. The idea that all the engage is initially what's going to be protecting Abyss, and then the fact that he's going to be invisible, pop out of the blue, be able to get the drop on it, whether it be the Kog'Maw or any of the other champions. Even Molaris, for example, is someone who's at risk against KO specifically. He has free reign to reposition every single time with that massive front line that Abyss Academy have put together.
I will make a call right now that this game, mid lane will be a farm lane, just because Lucian won't get much done. He will just get free farm. But this bot lane is going to be the win condition for both teams. Kog'Maw Lulu is a very big issue, and we've seen either ignites on Kuden, so they are looking for a kill lane. They do want to nullify this lane. But I think I'm really interested to see the jungle path coming out of Swathe and Scam Diggity, just because this will really determine which bot lane gets ahead.
And it always has been the bot lane for Abyss Academy, potentially and arguably the best side of Summoner's Rift for Abyss Academy. We know that the Rakan hasn't really been picked by Kuden this split, but you can see that Summoner's on Outlaws, and this is what I want to pull up. That again, they've done the classic cleanse on Kog'Maw, and K-Pop has picked up heal. It's been very situational changing these Summoners down the bottom lane. I think it has depended entirely on the matchup.
I mean, I like it. You're versing... What are you versing? You're versing Rakan. Rakan has a stun, has a charm. You can't cleanse the knock-up, so I would expect him to cleanse the charm and instantly flash out of that really fast engage that we see coming out of Rakans these days. But besides that, you don't have too much to cleanse out of. You've got a taunt from Galio and a stun from Jax, but those abilities should never really hit the Kog'Maw. So I think they've just picked this summoner spell, cleanse, just for the lane.
Yeah. There's a bit of trading back and forth in that Abyss bottom lane. The Lulu Kog'Maw level 1 still very potent. I do want to touch on the summoners as well again, and a good point that came out from that was the fact that you've got those massive tanks at the top side, not going to have the most amount of burst except maybe Jax, and that's going to be in the super, super late game. So it makes sense to actually have more defensive summoners available in your bot lane as well, because there isn't anyone who's a major burst threat until that super late game.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing... We didn't talk too much about the Shen. I don't think Shen will do too much into this Jax. Shen will have a relatively okay farming phase, but I think they mostly tunneled onto this pick because there weren't too many top lane champions left out of that draft phase. Yeah. And we do see the Kog'Maw and the Lulu. I guess they're just trying to all in onto ensuring that this bot lane has a good farming phase.
That is true, and it makes sense that you always want to make sure Kog'Maw can get to that late game. It's something that you were mentioning before. I believe they're looking to make a gank here in the bot side.
Oh, he misses.
Manage to get out of the way.
Easy dash.
Very intelligent. Yeah, and it all comes down to the fact that Dragon Flag did miss. Iris basically went the smart way and dashed on out of there.
A little bit of early nerves in the OCS finals, best of 5. The first gank doesn't go too well, but we do see a repeat maybe coming out of the Jarvan. No, he's going just to take the chickens, but we do see a nice reactive play coming out of Scam Diggity.
Oh, up in the top lane, Scam has already jumped through. Great leap from Paprise, but he's going to take the flash and force one out himself. Scam really forcing it out. Will burn his summoner as well.
Both teams messing up a little bit. The Shen flash taunt missing as well. Yeah, there's not too much to say. Just small micro errors coming out of both teams. A little bit of nerves, I would assume. This is quite a. I think, as you said before, Jake Hysterix, that this is the second finals Outlaws have been in.
Yep. Last time against Regicide.
Yeah, but we do see a little micro error coming out of their all-star top laner Curse. But we may see an early gank onto the spot lane. Probably not. They're too healthy under this tower.
I was looking at that there. I don't think it'd be worth the risk as well. Lulu typically is very good at keeping the shields out. Also will be able to immediately nullify any aggression by basically say turning them into a muffin, or in this case, a star.
A muffin.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing the candy Lulu come out.
A muffin.
That's Star Guardian, right?
That's Star Guardian, yeah.
That's
I think she turns them to stars, doesn't she?
I mean, something.
We'll find out. Once the game continues,
Sure
we'll find
we will.
out. But typically, when they do go for the aggression under tower, immediately gets silenced by that. It's not a silence specifically, but that's what it does do. And from that afterwards, basically, you probably lose the trade.
Especially since Lulu traditionally maxes W when you play in support, just because that silence, that polymorph duration, it does go up to, I think, 3 seconds. Something
Ridiculous.
Yeah, something ridiculous. Like, you no longer get to play League of Legends.
You can move.
You can move very slowly, but you will not be able to do anything else. But I did want to touch on that the Cogmore has gone for the Cull. Quite a greedy build coming here, but
Yeah.
but they are doing well on laning phase. 5 CS up. This wave is pushing back into Abyss, so they may catch up.
I do like the cull from the Cogmore specifically because he is going against a lane that does want to farm as well, and Kuden typically taking the Rakan, who's more of a melee champion, means that Cogmore is going to be fairly safe in this laning phase and should actually be able to benefit from that cull until maybe around that 5-6 minute mark when everyone's going to go really aggressive.
I think Rain's playing this really well, though, and he's someone who's had a shaky couple of weeks. You know, he picked up the Vayne when Cho'Gath got played against him by Atletico Esports and didn't really work out, and ever since then, he's kind of been building himself back up. The laning phase so far, and the early part, which has been his weakness, is kind of looking a lot better, at least in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I played against Rain a fair bit in solo queue, and this guy has probably some of the best mechanics, probably contesting some of the OPL 80 carries.
Yep.
But he's the biggest thing biggest weakness I guess I've seen is that he does rely on his support a lot, but this is perfect because he has got the Lulu Cog that does facilitate the champion he's playing at the moment. So I think he will have a good game.
Yeah, noticing what happened there in the mid lane, you really do have to be careful against that Justice Punch coming through from Frey. If it does land, especially with Lucian being such a weak champion, you already see half his HP gone. One more gank, while he's this low, could lead to a death.
Swathe has been trying to roam mid, but I mean, can't really make his way there yet. Scam not going to get the final hit of Permafrost, but just trying to secure vision in this river. That first dragon is only a cloud, so there's not too much priority, and finally, you can see Scam Diggity is starting to catch up, is level 5 now, was behind by a level. Looking at the CS there as well.
I think I got a question for you guys. Is who has the stronger late game?
Ooh, that's interesting. I would give it to the Outlaws.
You think it's the Cogmore comp?
I'd say it's Cogmore. It's also the fact that they got a double AD comp as well.
A Galio and a Jax Mendrix.
I would disagree with you.
You're looking at Jax, aren't you?
The Twitch pick, if it does get to that later stage in the game, we'll be able to put so much threat on the Cogmore pick that the Jax split push will eventually win them the game.
Okay, I see what you need. Speaking of that,
heroic entrance to come in. This is a great roam from Vis Academy. It means nothing but first blood, as Paprise won't even go down.
Great use of the combo. Shen isn't even able to get the flash out. Like, that is perfect play coming out of Abyss, and this may secure them to tier 1 top lane. No, they're going to be able to recall and get the tempo.
And you can really see the composition that Abyss Academy put together. Your prediction of the idea that KO will be too much for Rain to deal with will really come to fruition if that composition is able to execute on team fights like that every single time. All that lockdown, all that CC, straight on top of the main team, trying to protect Rain. I don't think they'll have the ability or the presence of mind to realize when Twitch pops out.
But also that was fantastic because putting pressure on the top side of the map is where Outlaws' strengths are. Outlaws have You know, one of the best top laners in the OCS. Scam Diggity has been proclaimed as one of the best junglers as well. Willaris has been so consistent through the course of this whole split. And right now I see by putting Curse behind, yes, it is still a Shen, but getting Paprise ahead I think is more important here. He got an assist, he went back, he got the Phage as well. And even Frey goes back and gets the Kindle Gem.
Yeah. I think it's really smart from Abyss to recognize, especially since whenever you verse a Shen, you don't really want to gank other lanes because his ultimate is a tool purely to ensure that his teammates or his other lanes are safe. So you do gank the Shen. They do execute the gank very well, and they don't get the kill on Jax, which is unfortunate, but they do release a lot of pressure on this Jax. So I think this is a win condition for them.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You really want to make sure you do keep that Jax alive, make sure he's able to free farm. Curse is actually playing this lane out very well. Even after that gank, even after that wave was pushed into tower, he's actually up in CS. You can see that strength there. You can see that he seems to be beating Paprise in this early game. And for them to continue to put that pressure there means Paprise can get to the late game where he'll be most effective.
Willaris playing mid very aggressively, and this is something you gents highlighted on before we came into that Willaris would have an easy time mid. And it was all about just Frey just picking up as much farm as he can and transitioning around with that heroic entrance. And so far it's being shown easily here. As Willaris pulling ahead by about 10 CS.
Once Frey gets a couple armor items, this Lucian won't be an issue.
Yep.
This Galio will essentially be a farm lane. And,
you mean just Ninja Tabby?
I mean, yeah, just when I say armor items, I guess I just mean Ninja Tabby. That item is still quite strong at the moment. It was quite brave of them to blind pick the Lucian mid. Did ensure that they could flex pick that Galio into the mid lane because Galio does quite well into Lucian.
I feel they wanted to take that because they realized, okay, let's just force. We can see with that pick coming out that it was going to be the Jax, that we need to just go straight for it afterwards. It must be a Galio mid, and we want to have an advantage in terms of that. If we do take a magic user, then out of the he's not going to die. Frey's going to be there the entire time. He's going to be sweet, no worries. I'll use my magic shield, I'll tank up, I'll be a monster in the late game, and there's nothing you can do against me. At least this way Willaris can do something.
We have seen what Cogmore does into Galio.
Oh yeah, we have.
That is the only concern I have, Mendrix.
We've just seen what Cogmore has done generally so far, and I want to revert back to that game of Legacy Genesis in the semi-finals.
Cogmore was banned so much.
They saw one, and that was it. And then again, everyone just knows what Cogmore can do.
Like you said, they did a meta, but this is an engage.
Yeah, the transition phase coming through from Outlaws into the mid lane, and Frey is going to take so much damage, but Galio's still so tanky. Big committance, but the counterplay from Abyss Academy working out as Paprise takes down Curse. It's 2 members down, and Willaris overcommits.
No.
And that is a 3-for-1, a desperate play from Outlaws.
Oh, the big thing about that as well is that Jax actually got 2 kills off that as well. He's going to be an absolute monster. The pressure now is all in Abyss's favor.
Yeah, I mean, the Jax we did mention was the win condition. What a play. I guess a proactive play coming out of Outlaws with the Shen ultimate onto Scam Diggity, but it was a really nice counter reaction coming out of Abyss Academy.
So we can see that they want to make this gank work. They already had that feeling that they were behind initially in the top side. You can see they forced the gank. It's actually well executed in terms of having Willaris tank first, then they're able to follow up in return. Everything's well done, but the response from Abyss is there. Sway comes in, manages to land it, and then Willaris is desperate, trying to realize he can get a kill. Is unable to because Paprise is doing too much damage.
Oh, wait, there's another play happening.
And we're jumping back in. KO's already used his ultimate and forces a flash out of K-pop. Rain still holding on to his summoners.
Just to go back onto that old play, that play that just happened before, it could have been a lot worse for Outlaws. If Jax didn't TP, you could see the top wave was already crashing on Shen. They chose to make a proactive play on a Galio. It took too long to kill him. They did get him down, but then it did result in a 3-for-1 trade, and this has propelled Jax so far ahead.
And you think about it for a second as well. It's the same play that Abyss Academy just made before. Typically, you don't want to gank another lane when there's a Galio on the field because he has the ability to reinforce directly afterwards. So you might as well hit the person that has that global pressure, get him down. It is the more effective gank considering what both these champions can do.
But while we were in that replay, gents, we saw Swathe picked up the Rift Herald, and it is going to be added to the loot as Abyss Academy pull ahead by about 1,000, 2,000 gold in this early game. You can see Swathe is trying, Scam Diggity is still invading. He's still impeaching a lot of that jungle. The top side, wards dropped left, right, and center. So it doesn't seem like Outlaws are too affected by that misplay in the mid lane.
Yeah, it seems that Wolaris is the only win condition. Actually, we do see Colmore just pick up the Blade of the Rune King. So they do have strong one-item power spike into the Galio and the Jarvan Cinderhulk, into these big frontline tanks.
Yep.
But we do see the Rift Herald. If this Rift Herald does break the mid-tier 1 tower, this will open the map up for that Galio ult to impact the side lanes.
Yeah, I want to go back to the point that Hysterix mentioned before, those wards being so deep. In Scam's, or Scam being so deep to get those wards in beforehand. And the reason for that is because they realize Swathe has that Rift Herald. Jax is a big monster as well. He started on the blue side of the map. They want to have an idea when Swathe is actually pathing up towards that, so that Curse isn't in deep trouble. And I think if they do manage to get first blood turret onto Jax, yes, it's nice to have it in the mid lane because you get that extra control. You can really propel Jax well into this game, and you can see he's already becoming a monster.
Yeah, this tower's almost down. This is going to become quite an issue. He's already finished the Trinity Force. We do see Galio go for the Merc Treads, which I do question as you are versing a Kog'Maw Lucian. But there is a lot of CC coming out of Scam Diggity, the Lulu, as well as the Shen. But I guess we'll find out how impactful those boots are and how fast he dies to this double 80 carry comp coming out of Outlaws in the first team fight.
You could probably expect him to maybe sell it towards that late game and get rid of it. Maybe it was the idea that he died there because he didn't have that extra tenacity, and that's what inspired him, I guess you could say, to go for a different pick in the end.
But when Frey died, I mean, he taunted Scam Diggity under turret, and Scam took 4 turret shots. That was the most damage. So I don't think it was really the tenacity. But end of the day, this has actually just become a slamming for Paprise in the top lane.
650 gold. That's a lot of gold, but we may see the first skirmish.
Yeah, big wombo coming through. Abyss Academy use Swathe to go in. Stand United, but there we go. Heroic entrance interrupts. On the spot, Wolaris will go down. And Abyss Academy are starting to fall. Impartial freezing means that Frey will get out, but the taunt, the CC, the follow-up might be good enough. This Galio is so tanky, but he's enough. That's slow. That's the Justice Punch that doesn't make its way. And there's another 3-for-1, this time for Outlaws.
And you can really see how they were able to make that work. The fact that they were encroaching into Outlaws jungle. They wanted to protect their blue. They wanted to keep it in place. They set up the wards early. They had the top side vision before to see it coming. And they were able to push Abyss Academy into that trap. And by taking care of Swathe so quickly with that target priority, they were able to win the fight afterwards.
Disaster. That is actually the biggest disaster Abyss could be looking for. They did secure top lane tower. Jax had a lot of gold. He's been farming for a while. You can see he's picked up Merc Treads straight away. They tend to go for a blue invade, and it does cost them. They lose tier 1 mid. They lose probably all of their advantage, and then now the gold is nearly even.
And there is no pressure across the map down in that bottom side. And right now I'm worried that Rain is having a decent lane. The Kog'Maw is having, this is what we saw with Legacy Genesis bot lane in Game 1 choose. Kog'Maw has a fine time in lane. He doesn't have to, doesn't have to win it, goes even, and then we start seeing really big results in the mid game.
Yeah, Lulu Kog isn't necessarily a bad lane, but I guess we just didn't see any pressure. We didn't see the Galio ultimate on the bot lane. We didn't see the Jarvan come down. We do see the Jarvan come down now.
But they are responding, and here's a big TP coming out.
Abyss Academy are being sandwiched to teleport a little bit too late, but Scam Diggity comes in. The quickness is there, but there's no follow-up damage. Outlaws are still ripe and healthy. And Abyss Academy do not engage upon further. There are 4 members of Outlaws down bottom.
Jax does use the TP. Nothing gets done. You can see the back pings coming out of Abyss. Very strange play coming out of both teams. They're both. I can still see there's a bit of nerves coming into this macro game as we do fall out of the laning phase. But we may see Wolaris get picked.
Wolaris should know they're coming here. Big mistake from the mid laner of Outlaws, and he's going to pay for it with his life.
He almost got out.
I think he did almost get out.
He almost got out.
He forced a lot of ultimates there. They're still going, though.
Arctic Assault into Paprise, and he's just going to cower on a strike. He'll be okay.
Okay, I could realize why Outlaws wanted to take that fight there. They realized how many ultimates were actually used by Abyss Academy, and if they felt a little bit on a high after managing to get to kill on Wolaris, they might have taken that fight, and it could have been advantageous for Outlaws, but wisely they moved back away, continued to consolidate the advantage they've managed to pick up. And it really is a matter of who gets their major power item spikes first in this mid game, and then fully takes control.
We do see the Ardent Senses coming out. the most broken item in the game has been
That's
finished.
fair. I'm glad people are doing it on Rakan now as well. Like, it took a couple of weeks.
It's great on Rakan.
It's fantastic on Rakan, but Mendrix and I were talking about this the other day. Mendrix is like, no, Rakan doesn't really do it. But I'm like, Mendrix, Battle Dance.
No.
I'm like, his Gleaming Quill, his Q. I'm like, he has 2 abilities that with low cooldowns that can proc it all the time.
Two dashes.
I was just basically talking
shields.
about... Well, I know, 2 dashes,
And
2
it
shields.
refreshes Mendrix. Like, you can literally have like a 7-second Ardent, go for again. So you get like 14 seconds of Ardent, then
Alright.
back up.
All right, fair enough. There is definitely an argument for him using the Ardent Sensor, and we can see that it's come out there. I was just saying in terms of that, going for the Ardent Sensor rush might not be as effective on Rakan purely because he's not going to be able to survive when he does go for that big engage. You want to have a little bit of tankiness first, then you bring up that Ardent Sensor, but I guess he's deciding to really prop up KO for that reason.
We do see Swaith going for the Lost Protector. Passive, nice Val onto his Twitch. I don't see this item path coming out of the Sejuani or the Shen. So
Say lost Protector, like Legacy Lost? Like to protect the AD carry?
That's what the passive's called.
Is that what it's...
The passive's called Lost Protector.
Are you sure it
the
wasn't
item's
just 'cause
called
you're
Knight's
broken?
Vow. But we do see the ball. We do see the ball coming out of Jax to react to the Shen. A lot of health as well as the Sejuani.
Yep.
As you can see, he's stacking Halcinder, Hulk, Kindle Gem, and a Giant Spell. Probably going for the Warmog second item.
I mean, this Jax... Look, let's come back to the Jax choose because Jax is propelled 50 CS ahead. 3, 1, and 2. We weren't expecting this in the top lane because Curse is normally the person that wins lane. He never really gets pushed back.
Well, that's because they put a lot of focus onto Curse earlier. They made sure they can keep him down. You can see the effects of it right now. And what I also want to discuss is how this is a big issue for Outlaws. Typically, Shen wants to split push, win his sort of get a decent push out, and then use his ultimate to group and lane. He's not going to win this split push now. That ship has well and truly sailed. It's gone. Paprise has basically taken it, threw him overboard, and said, haha, have fun swimming and trying to catch up to me. And then if he does decide to use his ultimate to go and help out his friends, Paprise is just going to be able to take the rest of the infrastructure on the base.
Bottom side turret goes down, and top almost is the response. Top side of the map right now for Outlaws is not looking pretty. You still have a Sejuani who's 3-1-1, but it's a tank. It's a Sejuani who will impact these team fights, but will not be dishing out the damage like Paprise can do.
As much as I love Cogmore and this composition that is coming out of Outlaws, I'm slowly starting to see the threat this Twitch has on this game. You can see they're both fairly even CS. We do see the Runans, and I assume he is going for the Infinity Edge, which is, from personal experience, a very intimidating item choice coming out of the Twitch.
Yep.
It usually shows that they have done well in laning phase, they haven't been put under too much threat, and I can get away with this item build. So this first team fight will probably be, as we can see he's going for the Infinity Edge, will probably be very close in terms of who of these AD carries can put out the most damage.
Yeah, I would be actually expecting KO to be sitting on the outskirts, looking for Rain specifically, so when he does pop out of that stealth, that extra attack speed just really shreds through Rain. And then at that point, he's able to kill everyone. I think one of the things you mentioned before is how do you get to the Cogmore in the most recent game that we watched? Well, like you said, if you pick up a Twitch, he can definitely bypass that front line anytime he wants to.
Twitch also, if he is able to get the first 2-3 autos onto the Cogmore, and he has flash ready, he can always flash and chase after that Cogmore. I would argue, just because they have the Shen, just because they have the Jax, that it is worth trading the Twitch's life for the Cogmore's life, because that Jax is an issue at the moment. 60 CS up at the moment, 3-1-2. The Bork is almost complete. When he does get this Bork, you can definitely see, just from what's on your screen right now, that this Jax is becoming an issue.
Look at him. Curse just has to back away. That's another free turret. It's 350 gold over to this Jax. And Paprise is just scaling. He's snowballed. He's ahead. And the problem right now I see is that Abyss Academy have got 2 lanes that are a big threat. Yes, Willaris has been fine. He's got his second item. But I am worried that when you get into this next fight, Abyss Academy are going to have this right in the back pocket.
And Willaris has been having a good time farming up, but you can see already he's not really doing too much damage for Frey, especially the fact he's gone for the Black Cleaver build. his damage does take a little bit longer to ramp up because he needs to be able to deal at least 5 auto attacks worth of damage to get the full strike, and he's in trouble.
Willaris being caught out again, gets outside of the Cataclysm, but 2 members are still committing from Abyss Academy. Running forward, Willaris kiting back, trying to outplay from Swate. He goes forward, he gets it 1v2. Willaris is not done, however. The Windsor War there, there's the taunt, but he's going to find himself under turret.
Great
Frey
channel.
has gone way too far forward. Here's the Shen. Outlaws bringing their A-game, baby, as they take 2 for nothing.
What I love about what happened there with Willaris, I said he takes a long time to ramp up, but he survived for so long. He has that further Keystone Mastery. Once that ramps up, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Everything was controlled. Everything was in place.
But this is not over yet, Mendrix. Turrets for turrets. Paprise is soloing these down and taking them so quickly. He gets pushed off by Curse, so in the end of the day, it is not a trade, and the gold is back to even.
And I just want to ask, what is Swaith doing in the mid lane? You are not going to kill a Lucian as Galio Jarvan.
Oh, we found a Kuden. He goes down, and that's another pick for Outlaws.
And they're going to reset off this.
I don't even think they found the Kuden. He was never there.
Kuden found them.
Yeah, pretty much.
But my question is your top lane is under siege. Your outer tier 1 is under siege. Twitch and Kuden are trying to defend this tower. You see the Sejuani constantly, wave after wave, trying to get chip damage on this tower. Swaith does opt to go to the mid lane to gank the Lucian. You're not going to kill anyone as Jarvan and Galio, especially a Lucian. A great ultimate coming out of Curse to secure the double kill.
And it does come back to his itemization. As you said before, I like that the fact he's managed to get the Knight's Vow is going to go into KO. It's really, really useful when he's near KO. Doesn't give him extra damage, gives him a little bit of extra tankiness. But like you said, without something that's a bit more, I guess you could say, a bit more bite in terms of the item output that he could go for. Maybe, for example, Tiamat, maybe going for that Titanic Hydra, he's not going to be doing as much damage to Willaris. And now you can see that Outlaws managed to get a bit of an advantage with that good play.
And the other thing I want to note is, why do I see so many Merc treads on my screen? Why is no one building Ninja Tabi against a Kog'Maw Lucian?
Ridiculous that there's 3.
The amount of damage that Swaith took from Lucian, you could see, as soon as Willaris did 1 combo on Swaith, you could see he put down the Ignite, he realized, I can turn this 2v1. And he does secure that 2v1 outplay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but my rationalization of this is simply, okay, it has to be for the tenacity, right? So Sejuani lockdown, Shen taunt, Lulu polymorph. I mean, that's the only rationalization I see, that there's 3 long-time stuns or displacements, and that slows it down, I guess.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions coming out of us from the item choice these guys have decided, especially the Warmog's Thornmail coming out of Frey, but we haven't actually seen a 5v5, and that is really what I'm looking for at this moment. The Twitch has come online. We do see the Infinity Edge and Runans. I would like to see this combo coming out soon.
Yeah, and I do want to go back to that idea of those team fights. You can say going for the Merc Treads means that Abyss Academy have built for that, but I would feel still the tanks having a bit more of an advantage having those Ninja Tabbies. I understand Jack's having the Merc Treads because if he gets caught in a bad situation, he's probably going to die and having that extra tenacity to be out, but the tanks should be able to survive at this point in the game. Come on, guys, just get those Ninja Tabbies up and rolling.
But everything's building up as this mid-tier 2 is going down, and Paprise still soloing down turrets. This is Abyss Academy's win condition right now. They're trading turrets for turrets, but now they're going to the inhib.
There's no wave clear coming out of Abyss. We didn't touch on this in the draft if they did fall behind, but they have picked a Jack split push composition. There's no wave clip, so it does mean they will have to look for engages.
And this is the engage that we're talking about.
The collapse has come through. This is going to be a great Galio ult as it knocks up 2, but Abyss Academy taking quite a bit of damage. In the middle of it all, Willaris is taken down first. Outlaws turn their attention back to Abyss Academy. Could be the fight that brings them back into this game, but Outlaws aren't done with them yet. They're still fighting. Curse flashes forward. Frey 3-man taunt. Guess who's still alive? It's KO, but he's already out of the fight. Rain was free hitting, and Outlaws will pick up 1.
And you can see the strength of Outlaws' composition in place when
Swaith?
Abyss Academy are unable to get that formation in place. They were going for the chase. They had a flank on Paprise, but I think the big thing there was KO was not in position.
I think this is okay. This Baron should not be sided up. It will be sided out, but the biggest thing to note is Cog no longer has Flash or Cleanse, and this Jax and Jarvan do have their Flash abilities up.
Okay, this may have been a mistake from Outlaws. They disengage. No harm, no foul.
We'll see a counter push. They'll get mid tower.
Okay. I understand probably why they would have gone to it. It was a bit of a test. It was a little bit of a poking and prodding to see how good Business Academy's defenses were. I mean, if you get a free Baron, you get a free Baron. They lose a mid for it.
You don't start a Baron to see if a team reacts.
You're like, is this working? They come. Oh.
Well, I mean, look, you have to
a
think about it. Sometimes you make that move, and if they don't respond, you get a free Baron.
Yes, I suppose. I suppose.
Risk reward.
I suppose if they didn't come, if they didn't know, yes, they would have had Baron. But it's just such a bold play. I mean, I can understand that you are running double AD carry, you are running Lucian Cogmore. It seems they are going for it again.
The TP's being pulled out by Curse. This is actually going down very, very fast. Swaith is on the back of the pit. He's ready to go in and steal.
Curse is playing point guard.
Curse goes in. Great taunt. Who gets the Baron? It's secured by Outlaws. Now they have to get the heck out, and Abyss Academy are not even going to touch it with a stick.
I really like that.
They don't even bother to contest. I think the Jacks would come in, but they didn't even think that they could even win the team fight. They saw that last team fight, and it was such an issue for them. They opt out not to go for the Baron contest, and we will see this Baron power play for the next 3 minutes.
I really think Outlaws just caught Abyss Academy with their pants down. Yes, they went for the reaction there before. Yes, they were actually there to actually stop it, but they had no support from Paprise. You could really see Curse wanted to be there and make sure that they could not get Swaith to be on that map at that point. They jump in, they get the Baron. You can see that they managed to... Swaith does get out with his life, but it's all because he was never able to get in. The lockdown was in place. They played that perfectly.
But this ambitious play from Outlaws means they have Baron and a gold lead. KO is trying to find the flank. He's going to pop the ultimate now. They find the Cogmore. Rain is getting all the shielding, but he goes down straight away. Abyss Academy have played this perfectly, and Outlaws are running for the hills. Frey's not done just yet. The Permafrost will lock down Paprise, chasing K-Pop. He's going to be caught out and destroyed. Outlaws have just been collapsed upon, and they're running through their own jungle. Abyss Academy aren't relentless, but they take down the bottom lane.
And you can see what happens when Abyss Academy get the correct setup. KO is in a flank position. They're able to find their engage straight onto the Cogmore, supersede through their front line, and there was no real response from KO.
And now there's no more Baron power play. They have lost that lead. The gold is still even. This is an even game. 31 minutes in now. We will see a late game coming out of the Twitch Cogmore.
Here we go. Now we do come into that team fight. As you can see, they've pushed up. They don't have the support from Shen. His ultimate's not there. KO being in that side there, he's able to then get free hits into the backline. Twitch basically deletes Cogmore right off the back. You can see they use as many ultimates to keep Shed. Well, Shed uses his ultimate as a response afterwards, but it's nowhere near enough for all this lockdown they bring, and then it's just an easy chase afterwards.
The wombo coming through from Abyss Academy looks like it's so much easier to execute here. Mendrix, if you look at the Galio, I mean, the Galio damage reduction on everyone in that fight was a really crucial part.
I mean, did you see the shield on Cogmore? As soon as we saw the open coming out of KO, there was a massive shield on the Cogmore that did delay that pick, I suppose. But that shield won't do too much when this Twitch gets 5-6 items.
Yeah, and I think you could say that right, because I'm pretty sure that was the Lulu ultimate as well. It was the shield from Lulu, and then on top of that, it was the shield from Shen. He had 2 ultimates and the support shield on top of him, and it was still not enough to keep him alive. I think the way Outlaws deal with this is they just need to be on top of everything and throwing those pink wards down on their flanks.
Yeah, if Rain doesn't have enough protection, who knows what could happen. He now has the Knight's Vow as Outlaws continue to try and siege up this bottom lane. No Baron on the bottom side of their map, but it doesn't matter. They're still going to get this turret, and Abyss Academy will back off, and Gold is back to a standstill.
Cogmore has Flash and Cleanse ready. This next team fight doesn't look too good for Abyss Academy, but they do have their summons up as well, and they do realize they need to make an engage because they don't have a lot of wave clear.
And the back, Swaith tries to go for the flank, but it's interrupted horribly. Cataclysm's there. The heroic entrance way too late. It will get the knock-up, but Outlaws have already taken down the jungler, and Frey is blocked off. Heroic exit, no more. Permafrost to lock him down. Percentage health damage, double taunt from Curse. It won't matter. Kuden has gone in, but he gets way too low, and Outlaws force the engage into the base. Abyss Academy really scared here as Willaris will take the front, but this is the inhibitor broken.
That's actually a disaster. We see the Jarvan go way too early. The Galio ult also follows as the Jarvan falls down. They end up losing their bot inhibitor.
What I really like about that team fight as well is KO, did come out of his stealth a bit too early. You could see Outlaws were a solid unit. They had their backs covered. They knew exactly where everyone was. Outlaws were able to stop them, Abyss Academy, from finding the team fight that they wanted. That was close.
Back as a unit, Mendrix 5-man back.
That is exactly what they needed to do.
Abyss have to stop team fighting. They need to find a way to get... Look at Jax's build. Jax does not want to be in these team fights. He wants to be in the side lane. They need to find a way to set this lane. They need to get lane assignments going where this Jax is able to be utilized, because these team fights are not going in Abyss's favor.
And you could see before that Paprise can easily push against. Curse can't do anything. Curse sits back now. I think it might be a different story, Choose. I mean, now that he's got the Thornmail, he's got the Randuin's Omen, and he can actually clear waves with the Titanic.
And to be fair, we actually haven't seen a team fight, really. We've just seen Jarvan fall down too early, or I mean, the only good team fight we've seen coming out of Abyss is that pick onto Kog'Maw instantaneously, where the Twitch was in a great position, but we do see Kog did burn both of his summoners, so there is an opportunity here. But as I said, this Jax doesn't want to be grouping. He wants to be in that side lane where he is right now. He will slowly get chip damage on that bot tower, and that is how Abyss want to play this composition.
But it's going to be so hard now that he has to deal with supers as well. That Titanic Handra's proc will be up every single time a wave crashes. So he'll be more than happy to sit there, use that Titanic Hydra to clear the wave instantly. That chip damage is going to take a very long time for Paprise to actually be effective with it.
Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, Paprise continues to push. It's not really a base race, but Abyss Academy group as 4 up top, and you can see off the side, Swaith is ready to go in for the engage. So a 4v4, will it work out? Well, maybe not, because Paprise...
Whoa, never mind then.
Even with supers down in the bottom lane, Paprise is winning this split.
That was actually ridiculous. I would have thought Curse would be able to get the Taunt, be able to get everything.
He's going to get the
now that the tower's gone, he just goes straight for it and ignore him.
Counter-strike.
And he's going to get out.
He's going to be fine, and Paprise jumps to a ward. Curse mistimes it. Meanwhile, we're back in the top lane of Abyss Academy. Comfortable to fight or at least waste time. They will use the ultimate, but now the bottom lane inhib from both teams are down.
I think both teams have recognized their proper win condition. It has changed over this game, but Outlaws are on a time bomb. This Jax, as we've seen, is an issue. Shen can no longer answer this split push threat.
Yep.
They do have a good engage composition. They have the Sejuani, probably one of the best engagers in the game. They need to move forward. They need to speed this Kog'Maw up with the Lulu speed buff and get damage on this tower. This tower is still at full HP. This is not what you want to happen.
Okay, Outlaws, though, now managed to have pressure on that top side. I'm not sure why they're backing away. I'd like them to keep that up, because there's no reason for Jax to be in the bot lane now. He wants to let those supers start to build up as well on his own side and continue to push there. This is exactly what Curse wants. He wants to be able to split push his own lane out, and then when a big engage happens, use his ultimate afterwards.
Wow.
And they're forcing the Baron because of it.
They're actually pulling the trigger so quick. Abyss Academy now know what's going on, but what is Baron at? At 3k health, in the pit, taunted up. Who gets the 50-50 smite? We don't know, but they're all targeting Swaith. Early smite, timed perfectly by Outlaws. First member to go down is Rain, and the fight could be a detriment, however. The Twitch is popping off. KO is free hitting in this fight. He gets 2. Curse is going to be the 3rd. There's no way he gets out.
I mean, what a great team fight coming out of Abyss. Twitch untouched. Doesn't even have his flash up, but they were all in such a compact zone at the Baron pit that Twitch had free reign over that team fight. As we said, immediately takes out the Kog'Maw, that first priority, but they do pick up the Baron. They have 2 Barons left up, but this may be a mid lane inhibitor tower.
Yeah, it was a questionable play from Outlaws. They do manage to get the Baron out of it, but they're losing so much more in return. And it all comes down to the fact that they were on a position where it was not going to be advantageous to them. Swaith goes in, immediately they get the combination that they're after, that team fight where they know they can win. And because KO is then able to freely get that jump, that is why they're able to win.
And 2 waves of supers now come rushing into the base. The only response in the bottom lane is that massive wave that will come tunneling in, but it will be responded. Elder Drake is up. Abyss Academy can take this, but Scan is back alive.
Okay, and I want to go back to the decision-making from Outlaws there, why they felt the need to go for it. I think they were being too pressured out, too much from Paprise. They're trying to force a fight here.
Wow.
I think they might be able to push them off.
But the culling,
Elder Dragon.
that forces them off the Elder Dragon, and now Outlaws, that's a free Elder. Oh, sure, there's only a cloud. It will reset a little bit, but Elder Drake go to Outlaws, as well as 2 members still having that Baron buff.
We've mentioned that Outlaws have the better teamfight composition.
Yep.
With this Dragon buff, if they are able to make an ideal teamfight, Kog'Maw does have Flash Up. They can potentially end the game off the next teamfight.
And they do have the pressure in place now. They got plenty of time in that bot lane as they were able to push it up. They may not have supers there yet, but they have the pressure near the top. They could really go for an all-or-nothing play right here.
And this is really showcasing our top 2 teams of the OCS, guys. 38 minutes in, it's at a Stigma, knife's edge. But it is Outlaws now pushing in to the mid. Rain is just hitting this turret, getting some poke, like you said, Choose. Abyss Academy are really struggling to wave through this.
I think both teams realize they need... I mean, they are getting the tower without having to make a team fight because this Elder Dragon is such a threat coming out of Outlaws.
Yep.
But Abyss may need to just concede double inhib in order to stay in this game.
Yeah, it all comes to the fact that they've also managed to have that Baron before. So before we'll say questionable play, Abyss Academy managed to benefit from it, but you can see Outlaws are making it work.
Scam Diggity ready to find his engage. This is who you have to keep an eye on. Level 16, so that's a level 3 ultimate. And Outlaws now rotating down to that double inhib, like you said, Choose. And Abyss Academy might have to forfeit this, but KO, he's looking antsy.
Good job coming out of Abyss. They're forcing them off. The Twitch stealth is such a threat.
Yeah.
He does have the flash up. We did talk about this a lot, that this is really the only way Kog'Maw can be shut down.
Yeah, they are running out of time as well, Outlaws. They need to make this play happen soon. So it's going to be a big team fight that's going to come out, or that inhibitor going down.
Rain is free hitting this inhib. Scam Dignity's forcing off Swathe. One more melee attack, but Swathe uses the Cataclysm. Flash used nice and early, but the Galliard hits up too. Abyss Academy finding their Wombo, but in the back, Paprise is doing nothing, and Abyss Academy have to forfeit now because Wallaris is also free hitting. Double AD carry. He pushes a bit too far forward. They pick up the inhib and they'll force Abyss back.
That was a really good engage coming out of Swathe. Probably the first great engage you've seen coming out of the job, and forced the Kog'Maw flash instantly. We then saw the follow-up coming out of the Rakan. No one else could follow up after that CC was applied by the Rakan knockup.
No
but we may see the game end right here and now from this double TP play coming out of Abyss.
Hang on, Curse is coming in. Waiting for the taunt. He has to go in now. That's 2 Nexus turrets down. He's polymorph. The Wombo, they take it down. They're not going to find the Nexus. They're going to lose their lives. But that was a fantastic TP play because now the Nexus is open.
This is a big issue that might actually come out of it now because the bot lane's got supers. They've managed to have big death timers off the back of that, and that is 2 strong members on Abyss Academy that have gone down. Now's the opportunity for them to push for the win. This
is going to be very close. So we can see the minion wave is just entering neutral point in mid lane. It doesn't seem they are pushing for this, but this is 35 seconds, but we do see a backdoor coming out of Twitch.
KO.
Okay, Curse is there, though.
The invisibility is going to end soon.
He's on the wrong way.
He has flash for taunt.
Curse is here. KO has gone for the end. The taunt is there. No. Shen does so much damage with the Titanic. It's not going to be enough. KO makes a mistake.
What a disaster.
And because of the big death timers, guys, that's 3 down.
Not only that, that's the big person. Okay, I want to go back to it. Twitch is basically the answer to dealing with Outlaws team composition. They need him to basically decapitate Rain, get him off the map. He's the person that takes him out. No one will be able to get through to him. No one will be able to supersede that front line. This is probably game now for Outlaws.
No, 30 seconds. We do see Sezrani and Shen. Shen does have the ultimate ready to group when he's needed. But this Kog'Maw is really the only way they can win this game in this short time frame.
KO's up in 20 seconds. Abyss Academy made a bold play. It doesn't seem to have bit them just
Here's the minion wave.
But in it comes, streaming into these Nexus
turrets. The damage!
Puden is taking too much. Rain is again trying to pop off. Swathe knows he doesn't have flash, but it doesn't seem to matter. They don't want to get anywhere near him. KO's back up. They take 1 Nexus turret. The Outlaws hit it and run. Or do they continue? It looks like they're going to commit. It looks like the turret is going to be next on the list. Swathe goes in, finds the ultimate. Is it too late? Rakan, the shielding on top of Rain. Great redemption. Rain is going to try and win it for Outlaws right here and now. He's kiting back. He's still alive. The Kog'Maw lives. He's kiting back. The DPS is insane in the grand final. Thank God it's a best of 5 because Outlaws made that look so sexy And game one will go to our first seed.
What a great game one coming out of these two teams. That was a very close game. Great micro orb walking coming out of Cogmore from Rain. This is going to be a good series.
That was bold plays from both these teams. I am actually so happy that was our first game.
I'm so excited for tonight.
Like these guys are actually not pulling any punches. It's going to be good.
That was the closest game I've seen in the OCS in a very long time. And I said this at the start of the split. I'll say it again now to remind you at home. This has been the most talented OCS split as well. Our top four was definitely so close. Our top two, you saw just there in almost a 50-minute game on how close it was. KO makes the move to try and end it, try to make that base call. But I feel like at the end of the day, they kind of bit them in the back.
I mean, you said that it did cost them the game, and I did think they had a bit of time to come back into it. But the Twitch didn't actually have ultimate in that last team fight. And I think you're right. That did cost them the game. He went for that backdoor play. The Shen was too much to handle, and it did bite them.
I think there's a couple of things that really sort of you did not see behind the scenes that actually helped out Outlaws a lot there. So the big thing that you guess you could say the falter came through was when they decided to go for that Baron. But so importantly, they managed to get a member out, holding the Baron still available at that point in time. That means when they did pick up the Elder, they had Elder and Baron going in for that siege. So that allowed them to pick up those inhibitors safely.
I think the biggest thing I want to talk about is that they did allow Outlaws to pick the Lulu Cogmore. So it did show that they had prepared composition. We picked Galio Jarvan, something that can get on top of the Cogmore. And we did see they did pull off a couple ideal team fights, but it really just showed that it was too much of a threat. The Cogmore, especially Rain's Cogmore, at the very end, showed very good proficiency on the champion.
Yep.
I don't know if they will be getting that champion again. Are they switching sides? I would like to see them maybe picking up the Cogmore themselves.
So. Yep.
Because KO does play the Twitch Cogmore, very similar kind of champions. And we do see OCS isn't necessarily a fiesta like OPL. These teams do have a gentleman's agreement going on where they do farm out. We see macro play come into fruition. This will be an interesting game too.
Before we go into game two and before we go to that break, I wanted to ask you, was it the top lane that really dictated that game? Because for Abyss, I felt like it was Paprise opening up the map. But when Curse got involved in those fights, he added that extra layer of protection. I feel like the Shen pick by the end of that game was actually so important.
Yeah.
The Stand United helping Rain. Of course, there was so many other shields. But Curse made a big impact there.
Yeah, the top lane, we did see fall behind quite a lot early. The Jax was becoming a very clear win condition quite early on, especially after First Blood. I do think that both teams mess up early. It may be, we did say nerves is quite a big thing in first.
It is a grand final,
in best of fives especially. There's a lot of room to, especially your mindset, when you go back and talk and get ready for this next game too.
Yep.
But I'll be interested to see if they do opt out for another win contingent like the Jax.
Yeah.
Going back to that question, I mean, I looked at it. I'd say the pace of the game was dictated by the tops. I mean, everything that seemed to be happening around the map towards that mid to late game as it was in place seemed to be revolving around what those two people were doing, how they were handling each other. But when I look at it, the outcome, what dictated that, it comes down to the ADCs. At the end of it, everything was there to facilitate them. Yeah. Jax jumping into the middle of the team fight. He was still a bit of a bruiser, still wanted to get in and do his damage. Cogmore, Twitch, were basically, you could see them being the gods towards that end game.
Exactly right, and you could not touch Rain. I mean, Paprise at the end kept hitting Rain, and everyone was focusing on this Cogmore, but he just wouldn't die. Ardent Sensor sits in there as well. We know that's some of the reason why he's healing up. That item's not broken, but...
No, it is.
Let's... Okay, apparently
it's a wit's end.
Apparently it is.
It's a wit's end. It's a free wit's end.
Well,
it's a bit ridiculous.
I'm glad Cogmores aren't building that anymore. We are going to jump to a quick 5-minute break, but when we return, Game 2 of this epic grand final for OCS Split 2. Outlaws and Abyss Academy, don't stop now. You're already impressing the heck out of us. We'll see you in 5.